Now the reason why we haven't finalized the tune on this car is because we're going to do something else. It's going to require a full tune.
Freaking idiot.
And I'll give you a little sneak peek right now.
Gotcha, bitch!
I can't believe you fell for the oldest trick in the book.
Stay tuned. Alright, so step one of our turbo event is kind of already finished. So we've got everything buttoned up here. It's sealed. It works pretty good. Now we're probably going to trim this up. I'd like the hose or the pipe to run here more straight.
Who doesn't?
And then obviously the air filter's not going to be here. We're going to remove that. And this will go down and then out, and there'll be an intercooler somewhere in the front. Now I haven't decided exactly where I'm going to run it here. There's a pretty decent amount of space in here, but I don't know that it's enough.
You must be joking.
And if you look down there, there's some more space down underneath that frame rail that we could probably mount it. So we're going to have to figure that all out. Now as far as the turbo side goes, obviously these old manifolds are going to have to go bye-bye, and the new one will come up and curve right here, and the turbo will sit right here. So probably the first thing we have to do is disconnect our exhaust on this side. So getting these headers off and stuff. Now I was just running the car, so these are probably a little on the warm side, and I have to admit that I'm slightly concerned about removing the pipes down here. It'll be interesting to see how we do here. Those bolts are not going to be fun, but all we got to do is get to it. Alright, O2 sensor is out. Alright, we're going to just disconnect the headers here. Oddly, these are 12 mil. I don't get it either, but whatevs. Consistency, not necessarily a thing that BMW cares about, I guess.
My timing is so off.
These are pretty easy to get off.
Say what now?
Because they haven't been on there very long. That's fascinating. Studs are coming out with them.
What the deuce?
And this is the perfect.
You blew it, boy!
And this is the perfect.
Smooth move, Ajax.
And this is the perfect example of why you probably want to use Loctite on this. 2 of the nuts came off. The rest came out with the studs.
Let me tell you about it, stud.
So that's something I have to rectify before we put the new one on. Because we're going to need a flange on here to fit on our downpipe and everything. And this is all the other exhaust. Well, none of this is going to do us a whole lot of good. So what we're going to do is the easy thing. We're just going to sawzall this off, and we'll worry about welding on the new flange when we have to weld it on.
Don't touch me.
Well, that was easy.
Are you sure about that?
All right, so we're gonna put the studs back in, but this time we're gonna use some thread locker and tighten these down so they don't come out. So next time we can count on the nuts coming off properly without having to worry about pulling the head studs out.
That's what she said.
So what we do is we'll just double nut them like that.
Stroke.
Tighten these together, and we'll stick our thread locker on there, and then we'll just put them in.
Several bad puns later.
All right, all of our exhaust head studs are on there.
Tell me about it, stud.
ready to go. So I guess we got to put the header on.
Head on.
And here is our absolutely beautiful looking headers.
Whoa, nice headers.
So we've got the header in here, and we have the header gasket, and we're all ready to go. All we got to do is put this on. There's a bump stop here that's for the original intake system. That's obviously going to be in the way, so we're going to have to probably remove this. That ought to do it. Needless to say, we're going to need to do a little more clearancing. This air conditioner line is probably going to have to go somewhere else, probably down along here, or potentially up along here. Then this bracket for the old air cleaner is going to have to come off.
Get the f out!
I think I might have to remove more of this. So in order to get any of this stuff out of here, I'm going to have to remove this reservoir here. And this might have to be moved too. We'll see. If this gets really hot, which it obviously does, it could just boil the reservoir off. So our windshield washer fluid might have to get mounted somewhere else.
Boom. Roasted.
First thing we got to do is remove this stuff, relocate the AC line, and then cut these brackets off. Alright, so that's where it's going to sit. Now obviously we've got some issues, because that's going there, and that's hitting the wheel well here. So things are going to have to be rotated from the center, but looks pretty good. I'm pretty excited.
I'm like JoJo, the idiot circus boy.
Alright, so our turbo doesn't fit in the spot because we need to rotate the, I guess this is the intake side.
Michael, you know better than that.
This is also in an extremely inconvenient location, but because of the way that this is connected to the flange, it has to connect to the exhaust. I'm not really sure we're going to be able to do anything about that. So we're going to see. It's really not this that's the problem, it's this canister. And it looks like you can move it at least some.
What an idiot!
We're going to probably try to move it at least some, to get it into a spot where we might be able to use it better.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
But for now, we gotta loosen these bolts up so we can clock the turbo. From what I understand, it's a pretty simple process.
Oh, it's super easy.
I'm just loosening these bolts up. We also want to be able to clock our center ports so that we have our oil and our water and all that stuff coming out the right spot.
What you talking about, Willis?
Alright, let's bring it over to the car and clock it. Alright, so that's our oil input. Needs to be on the top. So we're good there. Alright, now we're gonna rotate this to where I want it. I think somewhere in that zone is gonna have to serve the purpose. And we're gonna have to relocate that bracket. Well, there we go. It looks like I have it clocked pretty much the way I want it. This is still kind of bumping there.
Oh, wow! Wow!
This engine rocks. That's gonna hit there. So I might have to do a little persuasion up in that area to clearance there a little bit.
All you gotta do is tap it in.
Just a little.
Tap it in. Just tap it in.
Just a small divot.
Just tap it in.
But I think, other than that, pretty much in good shape.
Just tap it in. Just tap it in. Give it a little tappy.
So after a little bit of fiddling,
Now you play pretty good fiddle, boy, but give the devil his due.
I have my turbo mocked in the way that I think it's going to go. Now, I'm going to have to pull it off and tighten everything up and all that good stuff. But I'm pretty happy with the placement right here. I think it looks good. We do have this in there and functional and not rubbing.
He rubbed you, and rubbing, son, is racing.
So that's good. That's real good. I did notice one slight problem. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This right here is our down pipe. And this came in a kit for this engine. So this should theoretically be easy to put on. And inside the kit was the headers as well. So you wouldn't think there'd be a problem. However, when we put this in here, if I put it at the angle that this flange is at, we're hitting the steering mechanism down at the bottom, and I can't really push it over to the other side here like that, because then it hits the headers. So I'm not exactly sure what engine this down pipe is for. What we really need is for this to be straighter and a touch longer.
That's what she said.
And then I think, or maybe if this was just extended like that, I think we could get it to work. But as it stands right now, if I put it right there, well, we're hitting the firewall, we're hitting the suspension pieces for the steering. It just doesn't work. So I contacted them about the downpipe to let them know, and hopefully we'll get a response. Now if we move this down like that a little bit and added a pipe in there, I think it would work just fine. But as it stands right now, going up against here like that, this just doesn't work. Just doesn't work. So hopefully we get a resolution to that problem at some point from the kit maker. Either that, or I'll have to go ahead and modify this myself somehow.
Oh my God, no!
Not exactly a welder, as we know, but I can cut this off, extend it out a little bit, and then have somebody weld that and the flange back on if I need to. In the next video, we're going to dive into adding the intercooler to our turbo system. So if you've never done a turbo system or added an intercooler, we're going to learn together. Trust me, it's a learning process. Now, why would I spend all this time and money on this old beat up 733 that's not worth anything?
I give up, Clay.
It could only possibly be for the love of cars. And if you have that car that's in your heart that you just love and you see it somewhere, well, you know what? Go up to the owner and say, hey, I love that car. Get it back on the road and fix it up so it works, and drive it around and use it, because that's what it's all about. And that's what we're doing with this old BMW. And trust me, if this moron can do it, I know you can too.
There's something really wrong with him.
So I'll see you guys in the next video.